morning. Welcome back. It's another early morning show with me, your co-host Steve. Cat, who knows? Don't know. He may make an appearance because he is in the house somewhere. Uh, this is the show. This show has been banned in almost every classroom in America. Uh, Due to my desecration of the English language. They feel that I am a bad influence for most people learning grammar and just pronunciation, so I have been banned. Just to let you know. The opening shots were at a record store in Toledo, Ohio. And here he is, and here's Cat. Welcome, Cat. Say hi. Hello. So they were from a record store in Toledo, Ohio, called Culture Clash. And I'd like to show you the shirt, but obviously it's not working out right now. But it's kind of Sweetheart from the Rodeo. Can you see that? Probably not. You're blocking this. You're blocking the camera shot. Okay. All right. It was kind of a cool shirt. They had a number of different shirts. I found some interesting things at the record store. They were only letting in one person at a time. And I've been to other places in Toledo, Ohio, and anybody can come in, but this one was really being specific. And so generally it's by an appointment. I didn't know that. I just happened to walk in. The FedEx guy was coming out. I was coming in. You had to wear gloves, masks, the whole thing. I mean, you had to really mask up. Well, then winds up one of the appointments was waiting, came in person waiting, so I'm trying to rush through, which is a good thing. It saved me some money. I found some really interesting things there that I liked. A little more Mexican reggae, a special first aid kit album that was special vinyl, so it was nice. But yeah, kind of cool shirt, isn't it? I like it. I want to just start off real quick, because I got a lot of music here. I want COVID. Everyone just keeps bashing this whole pandemic thing like it's the worst thing in the world. I want to say there's some positive here, and I think we need to talk about the positive, okay? Number one, parking. Went to the airport. I flew for the first time this week. I parked right up front for the first time. Now, it's a small regional airport, but still, I got to park 5-6 rows back. I was right up front. You go any city, anywhere, parking, super easy. Fantastic. Restaurants. There's certain restaurants I really enjoy going to, but they're always so busy and it's hard to get a table. Now, I waltz right in. I says, I want to sit outside or right there. And I get in. Service, lickety split, boom, boom, boom. Take care of me really quick and fast. It's amazing. Traffic. I haven't been in a traffic jam in 4 months. I can't believe 5 o'clock rush hour. There's nobody there. Nothing's going on. It is so wonderful. I hate sitting in traffic. One time I've had traffic jam is coming when I was driving all the time on a Friday coming back home because I have to head north and toward northern Michigan, and that's always a traffic jam in the summertime. Everybody heads north. So see folks, the pandemic's not as bad as we think it is. There's so much positive going on out there. And I think I look pretty good in a mask, and I think most everyone else would say, you look pretty damn good in a mask. It covers up a lot. Okay, Cat's in. Let's go. We will begin. This came from Ken down in South Carolina, and he'd sent me VCLT before, but after the flood, he sent me another nice package. And this was one that just fascinated me. Los Terrificos. Isn't that kind of a neat album cover? Very interesting. A lot of words in there. Half the side's written in Spanish, half is in English. Label. Kind of neat. So Los Terrificos is a collaboration between a guy named Ray Lugo and from Boogaloo Destroyers. I'm sure you remember that group. And Jake Fader. Fader? Oh well. And they did this. And Fader, he makes soundtracks, and I believe they're out of Mexico. And this is what they described as a soundtrack that has yet to have a film. And it's kind of, shall we say, a little freaky, a little mysterious, electronic, with a little dance in there, mostly instrumental. And it's a concept album. But what they do is they take, there's psych, there's acid funk, there's electronic, there's surf in it, there's Afrobeat, dub, Cumbria. A lot of inspiration came out of South America when they made this album, and this was from 2016. And it's about a narco drug lord. We call it narco music, actually. And he decides he wants to get out of being a drug lord and become a better person. It's about his quest to do that, going around out finding a little village in the jungle and living in there, then moving on, finding a group of hippies, then doing a vision quest, taking drugs, and finally trying to find the white city, Blanco Ciudad. And as he's going there, the drug culture, his old people are trying to find him and kill him, but eventually he's looking for inner peace. Yeah. Just what you would expect out of a album. And the name of the album is Go South. Yaya Pel Sur. Vaya Pel Sur. Go South. Los Terrificos. Great stuff. This is fun music because it was different. It was an exploration of stuff. So, really neat. Thank you so much, Ken, for that album. Next up, this is one I just picked up on. Yep, music on from a lo-fi release. Kiko from Los Lobos. Hey, is that okay? Cat's just kind of staring at. Cat really would like to go outside right now. Oh, here we go. First time I cracked that open. So Kiko, this came out in 1992 from Los Lobos. And it is, shall we say, it's kind of like a balanced beauty and menace. I mean, it balances beauty and menace, I would say, with intelligence. And many people consider it to be Los Lobos' very best album, kind of the pinnacle of what they were doing. I mean, the guitars on this, they're extremely clean. The drums, just, they have a certain snap to them. It's really, really produced well. There's songs like, like Whiskey Trail, that's just a hard rockin', hard charging song. Train Don't Stop Here is just a rollicking fun song. There is Kiko and the Lavender Moon, and that just has this kind of this ghostly separation feeling to it. What made this album different than other Los Lobos albums from the 80s is it was less folky. Now, what attracted me to Los Lobos was the folk, was the instrumentation. Whoa! Hey! I lost everybody. I even scared the cat there. How about that? That hasn't happened. The phone slipped there. Huh. All right, so we're back to this, and now the cat's going to settle someplace else. But it didn't have that folk, and so you don't get this Mexican feel with the accordions and the violins. This is definitely much more electronic, much more guitar-based music, and you definitely have that feel. Now, I mean, this thing's dark. It really is dark. Excuse me there. it's songs about child abuse, about alcoholism, about rape, homelessness, and death. That's what you're going to find. So if you want some sunshine music, I just would not buy Kiko. But it's an important album. I have new respect for it. When this first came out, I wasn't a fan because it didn't have the folk aspects of Los Lobos, which is what I truly enjoyed. But this has grown on me, and I was really happy to get a MoFi because I never had that in album form, so that was really cool. We have from Bad English Rex, Mr. Finglish. He sent me this, and it has a lot of things. This is from Morel Wagner. What a beautiful album. When the Cellar Children See the Light of Day. When the Cellar Children See the Light of Day. And inside we have a picture of her. This album here is from a Finnish singer-songwriter. She was born in '87 in Ethiopia, but they immigrated to Finland. I mean, Ethiopia, Finland, so similar. I mean, just exactly kind of the same kind of place. I mean, wow, talk about a contrast. This was her second album, and it came out in 2014 and went to #1 in Finland and actually won the Nordic Album of the Year award. Yes, it did. And there's a good reason for it. This is an incredibly beautiful album. It was her debut on Sub Pop. The album, it is produced immaculately. You can hear so clearly every guitar pluck. And not the pluck, but just the notes. You can hear every guitar note so crystal clear. Every note she sings, and sung in English, it's crystal clear. It was an amazing listen to an album. Beautiful music. It's almost all acoustic. Once in a while a cello comes in or a piano, but that's it. It's her acoustic guitar and her voice. The song, it's about death, and there's just song after song dealing with death. I mean, even it starts off with The Dirt. And I wish I could play a sample because it was truly amazing. I always give Mr. Finglish a lot of crap. Says, well, in Finland, it's all pretty much the heavy metal, stuff, death rock. Well, there is death here, so okay, we keep that part of it. But it's just done in such a way, it just starts with The Dirt, and the dirt, talks about dying, and eventually you die and you become dirt and everything. You know what? It's what happens with her life. Oak Tree, about finding an abandoned child by an oak tree and what's going to happen. It's a dark, but it's haunting and beautiful. I was really blown away by this. When the Cellar Children See the Light of Day by Morel Wagner. Great stuff. Really was amazing. It was something else. It's Mr. Finglish, Bad English Rex's channel. I was shocked by that. Good stuff. Okay. For our Canadian friends, let's talk the Bad Beats. Yes, they came out of Vancouver. And if you like Canadian fuzz, which I'm sure sounds different than U.S. fuzz versus any other fuzz, then you would like this. The Bad Beats, they formed in 2014. His Vengeful Hand came out in 2015. And this is for those people that are obsessed with wearing old vintage Ray-Ban sunglasses and love the old garage rock type organ. What is it called? A Farfsa organ? I can't remember what you called them. There's like the song Knock Yourself Out. It's hypnotic. There is, what we got here, a couple of things that really grabbed my attention. Putting It Down, I believe, was one. And yeah, it was just fuzz soaked. I mean, it was just everywhere on here. They do Shocking Blues, the song from the Shocking Blues, Send Me a Postcard. And they do it just in a beautiful, beautiful way. Just really, this is a fun album. For lovers of fuzz guitar, you will not go wrong with this. I found it on Bump Records. And it truly was a great listen. So the Bad Beats, His Vengeful Hand, worth looking into. How about a little African? So let's do something different. Dang, I remember having a... Won't you be my subscriber? That is a fun coffee cup. Just fun. It makes you happy. We have Antonio Sanchez. Now, Mazzy recently had posted, he bought a whole bunch of record albums from a label called Analog Africa. This is one of the Analog Africa albums. I've been picking them up at record stores as I go. Now here it's on, you can find them on Bandcamp. So I went to the Bandcamp page. Man, he bought every freaking album. They're all sold out. I think he bought them all. So I didn't get any. Here's your record label. And Analog Africa. That's kind of neat, isn't it? So Antonio Sanchez. He is from Cabo Verde, I guess is how you would pronounce it. The islands off Africa. It's 400 miles off the western coast of Africa, between Africa and Brazil, Cabo Verde. And it was a group of islands that was actually discovered by the Portuguese, and the Portuguese claimed them. It then became a major spot for the slave trade, because it was on the way to the Americas. So you can get there, you can get watered up, and it became this huge mix of different African cultures on these islands because of the slave trade. Well, there was, with most African cultures, music is an important part. Music is communication. Music is how you tell stories. No different here, except now you have this conglomeration of different things. In the 50s, 60s, the African nations were trying to get independence. They wanted to break away, from the colonialism. And Cabo Verde was no different than the rest. So Portugal, what they did, because they'd been losing ever since World War II, everyone was losing all their colonies. So they banned music, and the music that they really banned is called Funana, Funan-A. I don't speak Portuguese. I don't speak English, French. I speak Steve. Steve is its own specific language with its own specific pronunciation. Most of you understand this. But they banned Funana music because it was felt that it is fairly rebellious. It's very expressive. And when they dance with such emotion, and the dances are more about breaking the chains that hold them. So they didn't like that. They go, okay, this thing's just going to cause us problems. And you found that throughout history, that a lot of the rulers of these colonies banned music, because music was this form of communication that could be spread with simple messages. But, it just wasn't what they wanted. Well, they did break free in 1975. They got their independence from Portugal. Well, Antonio Sanchez, he's from the islands, and he was an expat living in Portugal, in Lisbon. and he wanted to be a singer. He was a singer, but he was doing a lot of non-musical jobs. We finally got a chance to come and do some recording. Now, when they had this independence, Funaa, this music, suddenly took off, and it became big. It was brought back, and everyone's really, really excited. This is 75. Well, Antonio Sanchez, he made this album. This came out in 1983, I believe. It was released. Recorded in Lisbon. It went there. Now, what's different is the music originally uses a lot of accordion, and it uses more traditional instruments. Here it's a synthesizer. So the accordion's replaced with a synthesizer. There's more electronic. This did extremely well, and it was very, very popular, but it's considered kind of one of these lost masterpieces. It just disappeared. So there's a good picture of him. Well, by the time he put this out, it did really well there, but Funana music was done. It was just, they were moving on from that. So he had this one and done album dealing with it, and that was it. So this is the album. And you know, they found it and released it. Like all this African music, it's hard to find good recordings. It doesn't exist. But since this was done in Lisbon, I think it was easier to find. So Tonio Sanchez, Dole Povo. It's in Portuguese. I don't know. I think this means Steve's early morning show is awesome. Portuguese, they can write a lot in just a few letters. Just a little something you may not have known. Kind of fell down here. Let's talk. And these came from a guy in town that, hey, he let me go through his extras. Steve Bales, a guy which I've, really nice guy. I've known him for a few years now. And we have Sam and Dave. We have Sam and Dave Soulman. We have Sam and Dave. Hold on, I'm coming. And Sam and Dave, I thank you. And these are just beautiful, beautiful. I mean, they are so well taken care of. On stacks here. There we go. Or this one. Two are on stacks. I thank you is on Atlantic. Is on. Come on. Is on at the Atlantic label. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Sam and Dave. Which one should we hold up? We're going to hold up this one. So Sam and Dave, it's Sam Moore. He was born in 35. Dave Prater, he was born in 37, but actually died in 88. And they have been considered the most successful soul duo ever. What they did is they brought the gospel call and response type sounds into soul music. And Sam and Dave, they actually met on the gospel circuit. They weren't friends in life, but they kept running into each other on the gospel circuit and in some of the small clubs. So in 61, they formed the duo. They started recording on Marlin record labels, then they went to Roulette, and finally to Atlantic. I know you say, hey, that's the Stax. Didn't they record on Stax? Stax was part of, worked with Atlantic Records. Atlantic loaned Sam and Dave to Stax. And the first three albums were done by Stax until I Thank You. That became the first one done on the Atlantic label. So Soul Man, this one here, this came out in 1967. And actually, though, the first one was this one here. Hold On, I'm Coming for Stax. Now, they have done some singles now for these other companies. But this was the first one they did for Stax, Hold On, I'm Coming. which has a hit, Hold On, I'm Coming, which many people have done. It was, Booker T and the AMGs were the backing band. The Marquees were the backing horn section. So this came out in '66. Their third album was this one here, Sam and Dave's Soul Man, which probably has the single greatest soul song ever, and this is considered one of the greatest soul albums ever made. And it went to #1. Then in '68 they did I Thank You, which was their first album that did not chart at #1, and this was their fourth album that came out. And they had the single on here, Everybody Got to Believe in Somebody. No. You don't know what you mean to me. You don't know what you mean to me. But actually, Wrap It Up's on here that Fabulous Thunderbirds made really popular. The thing is, these guys, Sam and Dave, their last, almost, was it 13 years or so, they didn't even speak to each other. Once they were off stage, they didn't speak to each other. In '81, when they broke up, they never spoke to each other again. So it's just one of those tumultuous groups. You see them on stage and, God, these guys, they're so good, they love each other. Nah, not really. They weren't digging each other whatsoever. So, hey, really nice. Those are such beautiful, clean pressings. I've never seen them in the wild, ever. So super excited to have the Sam and Dave and Steve. I've got some other cool soul stuff from him. So that's this week. Thank you very much for tuning in. I just want to say I flew for the first time this week, and I felt really safe out there. I mean, I just thought the airlines did a great job. I felt good about it. The flights were really, really empty. They had, you were spaced apart from people. I was on Delta Airlines. The Delta lounges where I went to, I was still able to get a gin and tonic, which was good, but you can't get mixed drinks on the planes. You can get a beer or a wine. Up in first class, so it was nice. Easy to get an upgrade too. But it felt good, and flying again this week. So thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate it. We'll have a music BC music collection, curated music collection, part 5 this week. I have some other albums after taking a week off, and some really interesting things to show you. Very fascinating. So thank you, everyone. Cat says hello. There he goes. Bye.